Can you believe that this is happening?
It's just my opinion.
Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome to Sway. That's right, welcome to the channel where I give you my absolute honest opinion and I don't give a flying. How you feel about it? And as always, I got my trusty smoke, my trusty Coke. And before I get started, do not forget to hit like, make a comment, hit the subscribe button, press the notification icon so you can be notified of every time that I post a video. All right, so there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to be talking about today, and it's I think it's very important that I talk about it. First and foremost, you know, I've been saying it for a while, so with all the stuff I'm dealing with my health issues, and I'm dealing with some other personal issues, but you know, little by little is gonna come through. Is gonna, you know, I'm gonna pull through. Everything's gonna be all right. So some time ago, and I've said this many times, in where I stated that mainstream media is corrupt. You know, like I said, you know, politically and whatever, right? You know, I'm in the middle and whatever. But the one thing that I did agree with Donald Trump was that the mainstream media is very corrupt. I gave you a history of the fact that early on, from high school and in college and in my earlier college years, how I found out really that the mainstream media is corrupt and the way they do things. And it always comes from the top, you know, always comes from the top, like the anchors and I mean, above the anchors, you know, like the producers and all of those people, the owners of the mainstream media companies and whatever. So it was really interesting because some time ago, I want to say about a couple weeks ago, I was paying attention to Twitter. And I saw a news anchor from a Fox news anchor, Kari Lake. And I'm going to post her website. In the description box below. So, because it has the video that I'm going to talk about, but and that I'm going to show. But I saw this on Twitter and I saw this on, I saw this, I saw this all over the place. But long story short is that she basically was stating everything that I was talking about, how, you know, the mainstream media is biased, it's very corrupt. I mean, it's coming from the top down. And again, I'm going to post the link to her website. But I'm going to show, I'm going to show the video of what she said. And see what happens, that she ended up leaving her Fox affiliate news job. And I believe it was in Arizona where she was an anchor for a Fox affiliate. And I've always said this, that it comes down from the top down. And here you go. Here comes a news anchor, someone that like myself is a trained journalist, but unlike myself, she actually worked as a journalist. And here we go. This is what she says about why she's quitting and other things.
Hi everybody, I've got some news I want to share with you, since so many of you have sent me messages while I've been on leave asking me how I'm doing or when I'll be back. Many of you left kind messages telling me that you miss me. I appreciate all of the messages, and I miss you too. This time away from work has given me a chance to reflect on my work. 22 years ago, Fox 10 hired me and paired me up with John Hook to bring you the news every night. Shortly after becoming a team, we jumped in the ratings and we've held the #1 spot for almost all of our time together. Anyone who's worked in TV news can tell you that is not an easy feat, and it's one I'm extremely proud of. And I thank you for that, for tuning in and inviting us into your homes. Sadly, journalism has changed a lot since I first stepped into a newsroom, and I'll be honest, I don't like the direction it's going. The media needs more balance in coverage and a wider range of viewpoints represented in every newsroom, at every level, and in each position. In the past few years, I haven't felt proud to be a member of the media. I'm sure there are other journalists out there who feel the same way. I found myself reading news copy that I didn't believe was fully truthful or only told part of the story. And I began to feel that I was contributing to the fear and division in this country by continuing on in this profession. It's been a serious struggle for me, and I no longer want to do this job anymore. So I've decided the time is right to do something else, and I'm leaving Fox 10. I thank Fox for their understanding as I've come to this decision, and I am grateful for the opportunities they provided for me to cover so many big stories over the years. As I close this chapter of my career, there will probably be some hit pieces written about me. Not everyone is dedicated to telling the truth, but thankfully many of you have figured that out. I promise you, if you hear it from my lips, it will be truthful. It is scary walking away from a good job and a successful career, especially in difficult times. I know God has my back and will guide me to work that aligns with my values.
So with that being said, there's a lot more people out there that are leaving their journalist jobs for the mainstream media, and they're going on their own. For the same reasons, these people, they're people of integrity, And here's the thing: is that when it comes down to it, journalists, and if you're a journalist, okay, and this is what pisses me off about mainstream media, when you are working as a journalist, okay, your opinions on anything has to go out the window, okay. There is an exception. There is an exception. Like, let's say there's children who were kidnapped, or adults that were kidnapped, or let's say, children, men and women, they were violated in some way. If you voice your opinion saying that is terrible, okay, there is an exception to that rule, but 98% of the time, you keep your mouth shut. Your job is just to just report what's on the news, get as much information. Don't give a biased opinion. Try to get every side of the story. That is the whole point of being a journalist. But because of the way things are in mainstream media, everybody has their own opinion, their own biased opinion and what have you. So when I see somebody like Kari Lake, who has integrity and honor, leaving that job because she was not going to go out there and report a biased opinion or a biased thought on anything, and she wants to give you hardcore facts, regardless if if she agrees with them. See, as a journalist, you have to give hardcore facts whether you agree or disagree. Everything has to be straight down the middle. So that way everybody makes their own choices. When in media, when you're biased, when it comes to the news and whatever, when you're biased and you're giving a biased opinion and whatever, you're doing a great disservice to the media community, to the news and journalist community. So I have a really, 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 really great amount of respect for her for what she did. And I agree with her, because if I was in her position, I would have done the exact same thing. So again, her website is down below. Her website is down below. Check out her website. She also has a Twitter, which I'm going to put the Twitter handle down below as well if you want to check out her Twitter. And there you go. Now, some things are very disturbing that I just saw recently on The View. On The View. And this happened some not too long ago, but because I'm so busy with so many different things, you know, it's like I have to binge watch a lot of stuff. But one of the hosts of The View, her, you know, she goes by the name of Sunny Hostin, I believe. Sunny Hostin from The View, and just do a quick Google search, really. Just do a Sunny Hostin or Hostin. Her, I'm not gonna say her full name, even though it's on Wikipedia, but it's okay, I'll say Asuncion Cummings Huston, known professionally as Sunny Huston, is an American lawyer, journalist, and a television host. So what makes her a journalist? Is she a trained journalist? If she's an American lawyer, okay, you know what? There you go. But a journalist, what makes her a journalist? Did she train as a journalist, or do they just call her a journalist because they gave her a job on ABC? Because she's a senior legal correspondent and an analyst for the ABC News. Okay, that doesn't make you a journalist. Just because you're on TV doesn't make you a journalist. I'm not sorry to say so. It's true. It doesn't make you a journalist. Just because they gave you a little spot on the news doesn't make you a journalist. A journalist is something more than that. So, she was talking about, mind you, she's an attorney as well, but she was talking about how people who refuse to get the jab should be shunned from society. And I want you to take a look at the video right now.
What do you think needs to get done for people to recognize that it's neither left nor right, but center for all of us?
Yeah, well, it's a public health issue. It's not a political issue. But let's face it, Whoopi, this is just a vestige of the prior administration's politicization of the mask and of the vaccine. I mean, the prior administration was an anti-science administration. And I think we're seeing the fallout of the bungling of the pandemic, where it led to, the death of over 500,000 people. We now know that studies show, had the pandemic been dealt with in a different way, in a public health manner, and had these masks and efforts not been politicized in the way that they were, we could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives, including the lives of my in-laws. And so I will say, when you look at the folks that are not getting vaccinated, because it's a quarter of Americans that aren't getting vaccinated, white evangelicals, 45% say they won't get vaccinated, according to a Pew Research. Republicans, almost 50% of Republicans are refusing to get the vaccine. So we won't reach herd immunity because of those particular groups. So I say we need to shun those that refuse to get vaccinated. Just like now in certain states, many states, I know in New York, there are signs on storefronts, on businesses all across the state: no mask, no entry. I think if you have not been vaccinated, no entry. You want to get on a plane? you got to be vaccinated. Show proof of vaccination. And those people that don't want to get vaccinated, then that's fine. That's fine for you. But then you can't spread it to other people that are vaccinated. You can't spread it to other people rather that are also not vaccinated. Then you don't get those other liberties that come with immunity. It just, something has to break. If that's your personal choice not to get vaccinated, you don't then get to infringe on the rights of those who have chosen to protect their fellow citizens.
All right, so she talks about how if you do not get the jab, you do not get the right to infringe upon somebody else's rights. But then, okay, if somebody refuses to get the jab, how are they infringing upon somebody else's rights? And just a quick Google search, okay? Right in, and I'm doing this right. The encroachment, breach, or violation of a right, law, regulation, or contract. Okay, we're talking about rights, okay? So what rights are being infringed upon by someone who refuses to get the jab? Because okay, if someone refuses to get the jab, that does not infringe upon anybody's right to go out into the world, to enjoy concerts, to go to the store, to take a walk and go to the beach or anything. That's total bullshit. That is total bullshit, saying that if someone doesn't get the jab, first of all, what you're doing is that by you saying that people should be shunned for not getting the jab, that their rights should be infringed. And you're an American lawyer, supposedly. Okay? And I don't know jack shit about Sunny Huston other than what's on Wikipedia, because I don't pay attention to whatever. But you're telling me that that you are perfectly okay with infringing upon the rights of someone who chooses not to get the jab. Because if you don't do that, then the people who don't get the jab are infringing upon the rights of those that did get the jab. That's total bullshit. That's total bullshit. Just because someone refuses to get the jab, it does not infringe upon anybody's right. It's like with the mask stuff. If somebody chooses not to wear a mask, that's not infringing upon anybody's rights to go to the store or whatever. Is that people are too goddamn afraid. People are too damn afraid. They're goddamn afraid of the and the freaking sheeple are so afraid. The freaking sheeple are like, they've been drinking the Kool-Aid on this whole situation for so long and whatever. And what are you doing? Saying that what are you doing? Exactly. You're saying that, you know what, if you don't wear a mask and if you don't get the jab, your rights should be infringed upon. That's what you're saying. Because, and what's your reasoning, according to Sunny Huston, is that your reasoning is because the people who don't get the jab and don't wear a mask or whatever are going to be infringing upon you. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. That makes absolutely no goddamn sense. And then at the same time, you hear that stuff like, oh, well, by wearing them, you're not wearing a mask for yourself. You're wearing a mask for other people. when how many doctors out there have said that wearing a mask doesn't do shit. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I don't give medical advice or anything, but I'm just telling you what I've been told. And then with the stuff with the jab as well, I mean, they're just so, and I'm not going to get into it because it's already frustrating enough that people are listening to so much bullshit and so many people are drinking the Kool-Aid and so many people are freaking falling for this nonsense, this whole psyop. I don't have time to deal with it. I got enough shit to deal with in my own life, Let's put it this way. I'm a smoker and I'm quitting little by little, because I have to quit. But more than likely, I will die faster than I would from the current situation at hand. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not gonna. I don't give medical advice or whatever. I'm just telling you my opinions, and that's it. It is complete and utter bullshit. That's what it is. It's complete utter bullshit. Now, if you want to see the whole video, of what Sunny Hostin says, I'll put a link. I don't, if the YouTube video is taken down or if it's being censored or whatever, for whatever reason, I'll put, I already downloaded it. So I'm going to put the Dropbox links to it so that we can check it out. And, but it is so freaking ridiculous. What's going on? It's ridiculous. But as Kari Lake said, the mainstream media is so freaking biased and not delivering facts at all. They're like, oh yeah, we're basing shit on the science. No, the fuck you're not. Because if you were basing shit from the science, you wouldn't be censoring every doctor out there that's actually putting the science to the test. If the mainstream media was basing things, if mainstream media and the government's officials in many states were really basing things on the science, they would be listening to the doctors that are actually putting science to the test and not giving you projections based on some bullshit. Yes, that's my opinion. Unbelievable. Like, what in the world's going on here? It's getting frustrating. It's getting frustrating with the direction that the United States of America is heading. People are so afraid of their own shadow. Like, quite literally. People are so afraid of their own shadow. They're so afraid of every little thing and whatever. And they're and then you got one group that wants more rights and doesn't want their rights to be infringed upon, but they are more than ready to infringe upon the rights of other people. First and foremost, let me tell you something. The people that I'm supporting concerning the situation, we're not infringing upon anybody's rights. We're not trying to. We don't want to. But the other side You guys are trying to infringe upon the rights of other people. You want to infringe upon the rights of other people. You are spearheading the frickin' movements to infringe upon the rights of other people just because we don't agree with you on the jab. Anyway, I have a lot of things that I have to get done, but I really needed to make this video really fast today. I hope each and every one of you are having a wonderful day, a wonderful week. And just remember, I'm Sway. I love you all. Peace out.
It's just my opinion.